The EP Podcast. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at theeppodcast.com.
Today on the EP Podcast, we're going skating. You can too. In fact, there's a great deal for any of your kids looking to learn how to play hockey. It's the best one you're ever going to find anywhere. It's right here in Evergreen Park. And we're going on a musical holiday journey with Northwest Elementary School today. Their principal also joining us on the show. This episode brought to you by the First National Bank of Evergreen Park. The proud sponsors of the EP Podcast invest in this community because they love this area as much as you do. And their Total Access checking account gives you free ATMs nationwide, a $300 bonus with qualifying activities when you sign up, and no overdraft fees. Paired with their mobile banking tools and award-winning customer service, switch now to a true community bank. It has never been easier. Stop in and see them today in that iconic building at the corner of 95th and Pulaski, the First National Bank of Evergreen Park, member FDIC. The parents of the students at Northwest Elementary School got to see a Christmas pageant recently, a performance that took them around the world. We're only a 30-minute episode. We won't make every stop, but let's kick off the show with one of them right here on the EP Podcast. Take it away, kids. Down here at the 9-foot homemade oak bar, a couple guys who brought gifts. We got a couple of beers here on the bar. They have been on here before. They're hockey guys, and we are fortunate enough to have them here because they run the Dan Capuano ice rink. They've got programs over there to talk about. They're the folks that you're going to see most of the time when you're over at the rink. Mike Ugale and Pat Kuzlik, Moose, sitting down there. How are you?
Doing good, Chris. How are you?
Good. Great
to see you.
Good to see you guys. First off, were you nervous? I was nervous with how warm it was that the rink might not open as early as it normally does, because it was most of this fall. It didn't feel like it was going to get cold. Like this past week, frigid.
Plenty cold.
Frigid cold.
Right.
But like I just did not think that you were going to get it open. Did it open on time? Was it a little later in the season? How'd it go?
Actually, believe it or not, this year we're open a little earlier than we were the last couple of years. It's tough because the one thing we cannot control up there is the weather. You know, that's up to the man upstairs. So we're at his mercy. But the village did a great job putting everything together. They were proactive this year, got everything in line, and pretty much were able to get it in a snap.
Shout out to Dave Andre on top of his stuff. Big part of getting that place together, ready to go, all the coils in and the ice set up.
And Luke Phelan, too.
Got to mention Luke and
love Luke.
All the Gavin, all the public works being on top of it and making it a priority this year got us at least an extra week than we're used to getting out of it, and made it a priority this year, and that helps us out a ton. So we appreciate it.
I got a friend of mine also has a show on the network, the Zemar podcast. He's a local guy, Butch Zemar, and he builds an ice rink in the backyard for his boys who all play hockey every year. And he was telling me that, and I thought about it after he left when he was telling me. He was like, I think I'm going to put the ice rink together this weekend. I was like, what does that entail? Like, you just kind of set it up and you pour water in? Is that essentially what it is when they're setting up the rink? Because I've seen that ice rink in the summertime. You'll see kids skateboarding in there. So you said coils. So I'm assuming there's stuff in there to keep it cold.
Right.
And you set up a system underneath. You probably paint. Are you painting on the ground? Is that what you're doing? Then you're just filling it with water above it, and you kind of slowly but surely bring the water up?
The way that it goes is there are a bunch of PVC piping rolls that fit together. They roll them out over the concrete, and then that gets hooked up to a compressor, which pumps glycol through it. It's basically antifreeze. So that gets even colder than the air temperature outside. What they do, they hook all that up, gets running, pumping that through there, and then they start to spray ice on it. You spray just a little bit at a time. You can't flood it, otherwise you'd have big air bubbles and pockets in it. So spray mist a little bit at a time.
So it's a gradual process.
Right.
Because it's like get some water in there, let that freeze, and then get it some more on top of that.
Just making the ice alone takes about a week to do.
Wow. And I would imagine a pretty constant thing and multiple people having to check in on it while they're doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So then once they get it to a certain level, then they put down, we don't actually paint at our rink. We have mesh that we lay down. They lay down everything, make sure that it's at the proper angle, right spot for where it's supposed to be, the dots, the face-off lines, everything. The creases, make sure they're the right way. Then they layer water on top of that, get the Zamboni running over it, and away we go.
I love it. I mean, it's an outdoor ice rink inside of the village, and everybody's got access to it. And it's one of the cooler things that the village has that I don't know if anybody, I have these little things that I try to talk about that the village does that I don't think people all know about and the access to it. Like, we have a farm.
Right.
And during the fall, you can pick apples at the farm. Like, everybody drives to Indiana. Like, you don't need to do that. They actually have it set up, and they've got like animals there, and they've got they're keeping bees, and they're making honey, and like nobody gets it. So I try to feature the farm, and that's why I like to have you guys on too. Like, this is something that not everybody has. Not every village, not every area has an outdoor ice rink that's as well kept as this one. Do you feel like you get more and more each year use out of it? Like, you're starting to see more people take advantage of it?
Definitely. Yeah, we get more and more, and something that Mike has focused on a ton since he's been in charge at the place has just been reliability there. Having a second Zamboni now, which we have, making sure that the cooling system is working as it's supposed to, working with Public Works in order to do that, has been something that we've focused on a ton, and everybody drives by the rink and sees it at some point, and it's easy to slip your mind and forget that it's there. But using tools like this podcast and whatever we can to get the word out that it's there, plus the idea and getting some reliability, or letting people know that it's reliable and gonna be there when you plan on getting some kids out to bring to the rink and doing rad hockey or open skate or whatever it may be. Just knowing that it's going to be there and operating the way it's supposed to was worked wonders for us, because in the last few years, numbers really have been up quite a bit.
You guys do skate rental over there, right? And I remember a couple of years ago when you first started coming on the show, it was almost like just check the website or look at the email to find out what the times are. Has it gotten more regulated? Do you have certain times on certain days that people can kind of mark down, like, hey, in my mind, there's always rad hockey at this time or on this day. There's always open skate on this time or that day.
Yeah, so now we have some regular rentals like on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night, but normally during the weekdays it's 5 to 9 p.m. So we do open skate from 5 to 7, and either rad hockey or stick and puck from 7 to 9. Rentals depending. So if we have a rental, we're gonna bump
somebody
that.
rents the ice from you.
Correct.
Is what you're talking about.
Yes.
Okay.
Which anybody is available to do for $225 an hour. You will not find a rate like that anywhere
cheap.
Close to us.
Oh man, I had a kid who was a hockey player. We were just talking about him, right? Now he's converted water polo player for Rice, but he was a hockey player for most of his life, which is far more expensive, by the way. Wish you would have found the pool earlier. But
Ice time is a factor.
That price is great.
Yeah,
Because
it's a deal.
I know Southwest Ice Rink that's out in Crestwood, and that little rink that's there. I don't even think they're close to that price.
I want to say they're around 400
Yeah,
right now.
for 1 hour while you're out there. Yeah.
Everything's economies of scale. You rent a lot of ice with them, they'll mark the number down. Same with us. You rent 4 hours or more, we can bump that number. We'll negotiate with you, but you can have birthday parties up there. You can have your own rat hockey sessions. You can have just an open free skate, company parties, whatever you want to do.
Do you still get every once in a while a sighting of Evergreen Park's most famous hockey player? Does Abby Murphy
which
show
one
up
is
at all?
that? Okay.
I knew you meant to have.
I mean, like, who else is he talking about? She's got a street named after her for crying
Chris
out loud.
Chelios was born at
Yeah, he doesn't have a street. He doesn't have a street.
doesn't have
Chris Chelios doesn't have a street. Abby Murphy does.
You need to start reaching out to Chris Chelios. We got to bring him back in the fold, Chris.
But Abby, does she pop in every once in a while still? Or
So
no?
she dropped the puck for our first tournament that we had.
Okay.
She, for the championship game, was nice enough to come out. I don't want to misrepresent it here, but
Yeah, don't promise her. Don't let people think that she's always popping in.
In Sochi?
She was just back from Beijing, I think.
That's
when,
what it was.
yeah.
Okay.
When we had that
We
first
lucked out
tournament.
with the timing is what happened. And she was very generous to, come out with the peons and take a photo.
That's awesome. That's cool. Yeah, for sure. She's hung with the peons here. She's been at this bar.
Oh, yeah.
I consider myself a peon. She's got a medal for crying out loud.
Right.
I'm a peon. All right, so you have some regular times out there at the ice rink. You also have a program coming up, a Little Blackhawks program. So is this affiliated with the Chicago Blackhawks? Tell me about this.
So, yes, this is a program that the Blackhawks won, and we were chosen as a site for this season. And it's a learn-to-play hockey session, basically, for 4 to 9-year-olds. You got to be 4 to 9 years old. It's $298, and they give you a whole set of equipment, head to toe.
They're getting the equipment.
We're talking, helmet, shoulder pads.
See, this is an advantage thing because I know that when my kid wanted to learn how to play hockey, first he had to learn how to skate, right?
Right.
So, that's the key. Like, people always ask me because my son played and they have little kids, and I've had several parents in the area go like, okay, your kid played hockey, right? I'm like, yeah. How did you get started? And I always tell them, like, first off, he's got to know how to skate. Don't even worry about the stick. Learn how to skate. Yeah. Because that makes all the difference. You want to go to the game and you want your kid to be playing. You don't want to see him struggling. He may know what he's supposed to do, but he can't keep up. It's the kids that can skate that accelerate quicker. So learn how to skate. But when it gets time to go out there and start playing hockey, they don't hand you equipment at places. Like you got to go get it. Like you're getting secondhand stuff, or you're on Amazon, and you're going to Play It Again Sports. But when you first start getting them going, I think most of my stuff was Play It Again because I'm like, I don't know if he's going to be any good at this. Right. But you're still dropping a hefty price just for him to learn whether or not he wants to play it. So this is an advantage.
A whole set of equipment, if you were to buy it, not from Play It Again, but off the rack, you're going to be spending more than $300
for sure.
There. So this already...
Even at Play It Again, you're spending more than $300 for everything you're getting there.
You're spending some money, yeah.
It's not a deal, it's a steal, Chris. And they get 6 to 8 weeks of instruction. We're guaranteeing 6. We can't control the weather again, so we plan for a couple of warm outs. But I think it's a great program. So far, we have 16 kids signed up for it. We're hoping to bump that number up.
You're spending, even if you get 6 weeks, it's less than $40 a week.
Right.
I mean, I can't find a hockey program for my kid anywhere on the south side for that price.
And I've got a nephew who's signed up for it the past couple years, and he's still using his first set of equipment. You get a set of equipment in your first year. They work with you to get stuff a little bit bigger to make sure that you're not going to outgrow it and you can get a couple years out of it. So he's still using that first set of equipment that he got.
So he's not using the equipment and giving it back like they give
that
the
is
equipment?
yours to keep in your first year.
I'm sorry. Hold on a second. So you're getting 6 to 8 weeks of instruction in hockey.
Yep.
And the equipment, and you get to keep it.
It's yours to keep, and they'll work with you.
I wasn't even going to let the next kid play hockey. I'm going to let him go to this. Are you kidding me? Like, I got a 9-year-old right now, and he's like, can I play hockey? I'm like, you know how expensive that is? And like, you're going to suck me back in with this thing.
You've already got the hand-me-down sitting around.
I do. I've got a lot of years of hockey equipment sitting down here in bags, so I probably could pull it off.
People can go on to the Evergreen Park website, evergreenpark-ill.com, go to the rec department, and there's a direct link for the Little Blackhawks program that will take you right to the registration page.
How long do I have?
Till the 27th is what it says on
December.
The registration page.
Okay, because I'm a procrastinator, so that's why. So I want to know how long I can procrastinate for.
If you get that in on 12/26 at 11:59 and 59 seconds, you're good to go.
Okay.
Once that clock strikes midnight, you're out of luck.
Awesome. I'll have a lot of time. It'll be the holiday week.
Dream Christmas gift for a procrastinator.
There you go. Dream Christmas gift. Like when I'm sitting around trying to find something for the kid at the last minute, I'm like, you know what? He's going to go play hockey. Done. Give me some eggnog and spike it. That's exactly what I'll do. Speaking of spiking eggnog, you guys brought some beer. I think I mentioned it at the beginning when we first sat down. There was a story behind some of these. I want to give you a plug. They're all Wisconsin beers.
They are.
The New Glarus is like the thing. Like everybody goes to Wisconsin, they got to get the spotted cow. And I remember like our old friend for the show who no longer owns Open Outcry. His original thing that he wanted his trademark beer to become the next spotted cow. Like that's what he wanted. I think it's a dream for every brewer. But these other ones here are Wisconsin beers, and there's a connection I think that one of you have to this. Tell me about this.
My brother Kevin Kuzlik is he's in sales, I believe, director of sales for Badger State Brewing out of Green Bay. So Bears still playing in Green Bay, right?
I've never heard of Badger State Brewing.
It's not available quite as much as New Glarus, which I think is statewide. Badger State is still working towards that.
Are we breaking the law like Smokey and the Bandit, bringing us across state lines?
Yeah, we didn't pay for it here. It was a gift.
It's like bringing Coors like
just paying
east
in
of the
plugs.
Texas line? No, okay.
So yeah, they're one of their more noticeable beers would be their Brewski, which I don't think I brought, but one of the
this one's good though.
the Oktoberfest, the Oxkey.
Yeah.
You'd recognize it by the Wisconsin license plate.
It's awesome.
The can looks like, and the Udder Tugger, and there's a golden ale here that
you got a few on the bar.
Some quality beers. So next time you're in Green Bay or happen to be Wisconsin in a area that they do distribute to, keep an eye out for it. It's a good beer, and I get plenty of free stuff because I got the connection. So
there you go. Maybe
happy to share with you.
Now, what you do is you send them this podcast, okay? And there'll be a YouTube video, and you send it to him, and you're like, I plugged your beer, and I want a couple cases.
Keep it
and
coming.
He'll send them to you. He'll send them to you. Yeah. All right. That's how that works. Okay. I'm letting you in on the secret of radio broadcasting. That's how I got free tickets and CDs and dates when I was on the radio in my 20s. That's exactly what you have to go and do. All right. So we've got the hours set. Your season probably lasts at least through February, I would think, right?
Yeah, usually like the guidepost is around St. Patrick's Day. So it's all weather depending. You know, once it gets warmed up, we're out of business.
Any tips for anybody, especially people with kids, if they bring them out to the ice rink? Like I would think, you know, you don't want somebody who just drops them off and leaves them to run wild unless they're the right age to be able to do it. And if they don't know how to skate, you kind of want to keep an eye on them when they're out there. I mean, do you have like skate guards that are going around, or essentially like is it kind of a skate at your own risk type thing?
For open skate, there's always a skate guard going around. They're always good kids that we have signing up to work there, and they're all willing to help out and give a couple pointers here or there. Otherwise, we've got the programs. Learn to Skate is something that we're working on potentially bringing back. It is back. Okay.
It's awesome.
And like we mentioned, the Blackhawks program. My best recommendation whenever I'm in that situation is learn how to fall and get up first. That's the biggest thing you do, and that's usually what they start learning to skate with.
If you're not falling, you're not trying.
My recommendation to my 16-year-old has been, this is where you take a date. And he's like, how do I know if she can skate? It's better if she can't.
Exactly.
Right? Then she holds on to your arm and you skate her around the thing. I'm like, this is your dad. This was one of his go-to high school date things with a girl. Take her skating. Okay.
It's a good one.
Right? I mean, like, come on. You guys play hockey. At some point you did this. You were
We
like,
got access to the Zamboni.
I'm a skater. Do you want to skate? And then they sit there and go, I don't know how. I'll teach you. And then like, think about that. You got him on the arm. You're skating him around. It's a guy move right there. Yeah.
We've got access to the Zamboni,
so you
too,
show
which
off
is a
the
nice
Zamboni.
one. Yeah,
you're like Adam Sandler in Happy Gilmore. You bring out the Zamboni.
Fortunately,
loves
it
the
worked
Zamboni.
out well for me, but I thought it was going to be a nice romantic thing to have my wife on the back of the Zamboni.
Endless
which
Love is playing in the
definitely
background.
not allowed, but thought it would be romantic. I hadn't considered where the exhaust pipe was, though, which ended up being right in her face. So we kind of had to work around that a little bit, but you know what? I still ended up marrying her. So
there you go.
It
It worked out for you. It worked out, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. And again, if the best place to go and get the hours, if somebody missed it and doesn't want to rewind back, is evergreenpark-ill.com.
Go to the recreation department page, and there is a link for the Dan Capuano ice rink. They post hours on there weekly.
All right, Mike and Pat, they brought me beer. They told me about hockey. We had a couple of laughs. Thanks so much, guys.
No problem.
Thank you,
Thanks
Chris.
for having us, Chris.
Building relationships, supporting the community, and service. These are the things that Country Financial stands for. They're more than just an office you may pass by as you drive through Evergreen Park. They're neighbors who lend a helping hand and support the fabric of your community, including charitable organizations, sports, financial education, and civic organizations. And since Country is already your neighbor, they want to get together and chat. Call your local Country Financial representative, Mike Thauer, today at 708-425-1559 to talk about the things that are important to you and how he can help you protect them. It is now time for EP Podcast Word on the Street, brought to you by Spoken Vine Wine Bar and Bottle Shop, northeast corner of 95th and Kedzie, where you can go after you've done some shopping, relax, try out some wine, some small plates. The food is amazing. And you know what? You might be able to pick out a gift for you or somebody else in the wine shop. Sample, then buy. See everything they have to offer at SpokenVineWines.com. Speaking of sampling, the Evergreen Park Public Library wants to remind you that their Sip and Sample fundraiser is coming up on Saturday, February 22nd. Now listen, that may seem a ways away, but right now registration is open, $40 a ticket, and there is limited space. You want to get these for you. You might want to buy these tickets for a friend, a family member as a gift for this Christmas. You can pay online at evergreenparklibrary.org or give them a call at 708-422-8522. Your local garbage collector, Flood Brothers, is going to be collecting string lights that are not working or unwanted through the end of January of 2025. Collection bins are now available at the Village Hall at 9418 South Kedzie or the Community Center, 3450 West 97th Street. Lights can be placed in the bins during regular business hours all the way through the end of January. Remember, the very popular Santa visits are back and they run through Christmas Eve. Have Santa to your Evergreen Park home so the little ones can ask for a Christmas gift or take some photos. 20-minute segments on the weekend, including Christmas Eve. Call now, 708-229-3373 for an appointment. You got kids on Christmas break? They have crafts, games, ice skating, trivia, and much more available with Christmas Break Camp put on by the Evergreen Park Recreation Department, December 23rd, 26th, 27th, 30th, January 2nd through the 3rd, 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. at the Community Center. It's residents only. This is a camp, $200, grades 1 through 6. And the Youth Department is having their holiday bash at the Youth Center, December 19th. That's this Thursday, 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. with cookie decorating, games, piñata, Elf on the Shelf, holiday sweater competition, and so much more. The Elf on the Shelf isn't the piñata there, right? Maybe I'm reading that wrong. There's a comma there, I think. It's open to students in grades 5 through 12. Youth Center at 3450 West 97th Street, room 105. That's your word on the street. You heard them earlier in the show. Northwest Elementary School putting on their Christmas pageant. We got another song from the kids before their principal joins us here on the EP Podcast.
Next stop, the Middle East. The Jewish people of the world do not celebrate Christmas. They celebrate Hanukkah instead, which falls near Christmas and lasts for 8 days. Each night of Hanukkah begins with the lighting of the candle of the menorah. One new candle is lit each night. Children receive small gifts during Hanukkah. There is much singing, feasting, and celebrating.
Joining me on the phone line right now, the principal of all of those kids you just heard on the show over at Northwest School here in Evergreen Park, Dr. Matthew Bannock. How are you, Doc?
It's going well, thank you.
I got to check this out. The listeners are getting to hear it. Very well done. Like, here's the thing. I have watched so many Christmas pageants over the years. Like, my oldest is 19. So I've been going to Christmas pageants for a long time because the kids are spread out. I'm still going to them. And I have seen some that last for hours, and the parents have their heads dropped into their lap, and everybody's just like, I just want to see my kid, and I want to go home, and it's exhausting. And then I see them sometimes in their really nice productions. That one moved really well because it was like basically a trip to different countries. It kept all the kids active. It moved around the kids that you saw up on the stage. Is there an art to that? Is there a finesse trying to figure out how to do something entertaining, but also make it so that it doesn't feel like a chore to the parents?
You know, our music teacher, Mrs. Rivera, she does an amazing job with the students, and she introduces them to a wide range of music. And but she is the orchestrator behind it all, and she does a great job just keeping it moving. And that's our job. That's our goal, is just to kind of get the kids up there, have them show off what they can do, and then keep the program moving, like you said. But that she does a great job with that. That she has the finesse to make it all work together seamlessly and keep it moving, which is great.
You guys put on a musical each and every year, right? At least for the last couple ones, which is not something that all of the schools in the district do, right?
Correct, yeah. So we have our fifth grade teacher, Miss Siobhan Brewer, works with our fourth and fifth grade students to put on a musical production. This year we're actually doing Finding Nemo. So we'll be starting practice in January, and then the show will be in May this year. So it's the students love it. We usually have over 50 students involved, and everything from the main roles to the tech to designing the sets and everything like that. So we try to get our students involved with the fine arts as much as possible.
How much time did that take up, getting ready for that? I would imagine the kids were getting ready for a while.
Yes, almost right away after school starts. So we have music twice a week. So usually it takes her a few months to get the students to learn the parts and to get going. So yeah, usually soon after school starts, she starts practicing for the show, so that they're ready and they can do the great job that they did.
Yeah, and then it ends, and then you get through it, and then you can kind of start concentrating on getting ready for your holiday season, right? I mean, like, is that the life of a teacher and a principal? Like, first, it's make sure that you get all this stuff done, right? Because people expect it. People expect there's going to be a pageant or some singing or, a play or something like that for the holidays. They expect that they're going to get it. You got to get the kids all through that. You still got to teach them. And then you get to the end of it, and it's probably like a big breath, and you're like, whew, now I can maybe buy a gift for somebody in my house.
Yeah, our teachers are amazing. They try to do all these special things around the holidays and this time of year just to keep students interested, motivated, and to learn about each other's cultures. And then so they put the students first. And luckily we have a few days once winter break starts where we can collect ourselves and get ready for the winter holidays and get stuff done for our families as well, too. So, yeah, you're right.
All right. Well, look, it was awesome. We're going to hear some more music from the kids here throughout the show. I really appreciate you letting us come in and take a listen, take a look. I'm going to try to get one or two of the performances up on the EP Podcast YouTube page before the date of Christmas, maybe give people something to watch as the holiday goes on. But thank you so much for letting us join you. And Dr. Matthew Bannock from Northwest School, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you
always, we take Christmas week off here at the EP Podcast, but a special treat, look forward to it, a video podcast of the Evergreen Park High School Madrigal Choir going to be released just in time for Christmas Eve. You're going to get the video version the same way you get the audio version of the show unless you use Spotify. In that case, go to the eppodcast.com or YouTube. Enjoy that. Thanks for enjoying this show. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Madrigals on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. We've got a special show for you right here on the EP Podcast.
It's the EP Podcast. All things Evergreen Park. It's the EP Podcast. Evergreen Park.